Gary Soto is a writer who was born and raised in Fresno, California. He has written many books, stories, and poems for young people. Soto's writing often tells about Mexican Americans growing up poor in the neighborhoods of his native Fresno. In this interview, Soto talks about his writing, why it's important to write about what you know, and his role as a Mexican American author.
The fiction that I decided to write was going to be for middle grade and young adults. I thought, well, I'm going to try this because I still feel like a kid at heart, and I wanted to write stories and novels in which sort of a childlike fancy was present in the prose, and began to write stories about my life set in Fresno. Often our teachers in college would recommend that we write about what we know best, and in my circumstance, I knew my neighborhood very well, and I knew certain sections of Fresno very well. And you can know these areas and maybe have an emotional response to them. I try to show pictures in order to convince the reader that he or she is there, right there at that moment of activity. I knew one of the ingredients in order to convince the reader to stay on the page, to stay with me, is to show very strong images. One of the responsibilities of a writer is to convince the reader that they are viewing something that really is truly real, even though it may in fact be the stuff of the imagination. I am Mexican American and Chicano. When I first started writing back in 1990, I was aware that there was very few Mexican American characters in young adult or middle grade novels and poems and short stories. So in some regards it was a challenge to me to see if I could actually pioneer a new literature. Well, actually, I won't call it a new literature. I was going to pioneer in bringing Mexican American youth onto the page. Mexican American youth in Fresno and the outskirts of Fresno do have a rich experience, and it's through experience that we really, the best literature is able to come to the page.
Writing what he knows, writing about his hometown, about the people and places he knows so well, has allowed Gary Soto to create strong, believable stories about young people and the problems and challenges they face.